Presidential Commission on Non-Communicable Diseases launched first indigenous project completed under the Low Carbon Development Strategy and the Ghana Red Plus Investment Fund, and members of more commissions are sworn in. We'll have the details of these and other presidential activities in this week's edition of the Diary for the period September 6 to September 12. I'm Paul McAdam. The head of state, President Donald Ramotar, was joined by Development Program Country Representative Khadija Musa at Santa Aratak Village, a riverine community in Region 3, where the village launched the Santa Tours and Travel. President Ramotar, in his address, spoke of the many investments made by the current administration over the years to hinterland communities.
Since we have gotten into office, we have built and refurbished more than 1,000 schools. And in the interior area where we cannot put a secondary school in every village, we have built schools with dormitories. Every single child in a public school gets free uniform, free textbooks, free exercise books. So this year we have given each one of them $10,000. That money will be starting to come out very soon. Every child in public school will be given $10,000 to assist with them traveling so that they will get to school on time and ensure that all of our children are in school.
Pointing to the recent CSEC results, the President noted that the country's top students came from every administrative region, including those in the hinterland. The enshrined rights given to Amerindians through government-led legislation were also spoken of by the President.
Many of those who come and lecture to us about human rights, many of them don't give their own native people. For instance, in this country, we have not only titled lands and given Amerindian communities their lands, but I cannot think of another country in the world where subsurface rights have been given to the people as we have done in our society. That for small and medium scale mining, the village council must give permission for any type of that mining if it's on Amerindian land to take place. And they get a royalty from whatever is produced there. Many villages in the mining area are benefiting from this policy that we've had, that we have introduced. That is not found in many other countries far more developed than ours in any part of the world. As I said, I can't think about any. And even if there's large scale, where the village doesn't have the same direct control as the small and medium, but the village must benefit from whatever is produced on its land. No other country I can think about has given that to their native people as we have done here.
The launch of the Santa Tours and Travel will now generate a new income stream for the community, and both Guyanese and foreigners must be encouraged to visit, he added.
Your advantage too that you're not very far away from everything. As I said, remoteness, the concept of remoteness has changed. And you're not far away, near to the airport, everything that you can move quickly to come here and benefit. And therefore, this can help also to develop your craft industry. Handmade hammocks got a big market. And your market too is not necessarily limited to people who come here, or not necessarily will be limited to our city. But having the internet now, the whole world becomes a market where people can buy your goods. And this can help to give you a much higher standard of living.
Ghana is now recognized as a great and unique tourist product, and this must be capitalized on by all, the President said.
In fact, many have said that Guyana, for a very long time, has been the best kept secret. We have so much of beautiful spots here. I myself have been fortunate to have traveled in our country extensively, and I've also had the opportunity of traveling fairly widely in different parts of the world. I know the country that Ms. Musa is a native of is regarded as one of the most beautiful countries in the world, Kenya. Very beautiful. I only got to the airport there. I didn't get a chance to go in to enjoy some of the beauty. But I did see some of Africa's beauty. I was in Ethiopia, I was in Angola, I was in North Africa. I saw some of that. I saw many other places, interesting places. I was in the Congo too. I saw many places. And I can say this, that our product here is comparable with anything that I have seen. Anything in the world that I've seen.
The Santac Tours and Travel is a community-based approach to cultural and heritage tourism. The concept is to promote and preserve indigenous knowledge and skills through interpretation, providing an alternative means of livelihood and professional development. This new project, which is the Santa Missions CDP or Community Development Project under the LCDS GRIF initiative, will provide tour packages, tour guides, destination management, natural resources management, and training. A major roadway linking a West Bank Demerara community was formally opened by President Ramotar on September 6. Speaking at the commissioning of the $604 million Parfait Harmony Access Road, President Donald Ramotar said he is confident that the new highway will aid not only in cutting travel times and improving access for residents of the community, but also increase production and productivity, thus advancing Ghana's growing economy.
People will be less tired and will be able to get to work on time and be able to be more productive in whatever areas that they have to be engaged in.
Over the years, Ghana's economic growth has improved significantly, he said, noting that, quote, at one time our country was described as a heavily poor and indebted country, end of quote.
Today it is being described as a lower middle income developing country. But we have the capacity, we have the resources, and our people have been proven time and time again. In whatever circumstances you put our people, they find the ingenuity to develop and move forward. So we have the human resource, and I am confident in our own lifetime, and I'm not so young anymore, but in our own lifetime, we can take our country to being a developed country in the world. To do so, infrastructure like this is extremely important. Transportation is vital.
The President thanked all of those persons and agencies who made the construction of the road possible.
Let me conclude by thanking the Ministry of Housing, the Minister of Housing, his staff, the ministry itself, Housing and Water, to thank the contractors for a job that seems to be very good, and hopefully it will stand up and we won't see photograph in the newspaper with holes in it. So hopefully as I said, it looks extremely good from just looking at it. Looks like we have a good job of a good, strong and sturdy road. So I want to thank the contractors and the engineers for the work that they have done. And I ask you to continue to work with us so that we can realize the dream of making Guyana a developed country.
President Donald Ramotar highlighted the need for equal opportunities for all Guyanese recently. The foundation of the People's Progressive Party civic administration has always been built on equity for all. This sentiment was expressed by the President during a recent interview with the National Communications Network with regards to Amerindians. He said that indigenous peoples, who account for about 10% of the country's population, have been generally left out of the mainstream for centuries because of the lack of access to services that mostly coastal persons have been enjoying.
We have been pushing ahead to make those facilities available. Schools, for instance, we have been building new schools in all over our country, throughout the coastal and the interior area. But in the interior area, for the first time, they're having nursery schools, proper primary schools, They're having secondary schools. We're building dormitories, providing them with uniforms, providing a lot of them with 3 meals a day, living in the dormitories, books, everything. And we are beginning to see that turn around.
The president further noted that a larger number of students are pursuing higher education at institutions such as the University of Guyana, the Guyana School of Agriculture, the Carnegie School of Economics, and the government technical institutes. He noted that the administration will have to look at providing accommodation now soon for those persons desirous of pursuing higher education.
By providing these facilities, we are actually building the foundations for giving everyone equal opportunity to what is available within our country. That is what is important, and I think that we are discharging our functions well. We are also, that is one of the reasons the cuts in the budget were so tragic in the Amerindians, because while we have done an enormous amount in the social spheres, health, education, housing too, we have had an impact in Amerindian communities. It is also very important to improve the village economy, and this cut from our budget was directed to helping the village economies to develop, to be in a stronger position so that they can produce more in less time, have more time to study for self-development, self-awareness, etc., etc. So I would say that we have pursued that goal from the beginning of our, whether in and out of government. And now that we're in government, we are making it into a reality where every person in Guyana will have equal opportunity.
Investments in the mining sector are set to expand. The top executives of Troy Resources Guyana Incorporated met with President Ramotar to brief him of the progress of the company's multi-million US dollar investment. Speaking to Gina, company chairman David Dix said the meeting went very well, with the president giving his commitment to help the Australian company with the necessary means to expedite their local operations.
It's our first board meeting that we've had in Guyana. We talked through the development plans that we have, the time frame in which we want to develop our mine, and the benefits that he could help to assist us to be able to do it in a timely manner and enable us to be generating income for us and wealth for the country.
The chairman stated that he's very happy with the investment opportunity provided for by Guyana.
We're very happy with the structures that are in place, the way that we can do business here, and the confidence the investment community is getting in us in the way that we're operating here.
The Australian Exploration and Mining Company will be developing an area west of Omai with the anticipation of raking in an annual production of about 90,000 ounces of gold over a 7-year period. Production, however, in the first 12 months is projected to be 102 ounces of gold, with production commencing between December of this year to February of next year. The local and regional health care systems were discussed when the Pan American Health Organization's Director General paid a courtesy call on President Ramotar. Guyana's healthcare system was the focus of discussions when the Pan American Health Organization's Director General, Dr. Carissa Etienne, met with President Ramotar on September 10 at the presidential complex.
The president seemed to be very well versed with the health situation in the country. He was able to bring some attention to suicides, to NCDs particularly. He is a good example of lifestyle behavior changes. He was very concerned about the situation in the country with NCDs and suicides, and what it is that PAHO could do to assist with technical cooperation in those areas.
Chikungunya and the emerging threat of Ebola were also discussed.
We spoke about the developments that the Ministry of Health and the actions they are taking to both prevent and to be prepared in case of Ebola erupting. But importantly as well, what work they were doing for NCDs. I think that for NCDs meaning non-communicable diseases.
A Dominican Republic citizen, Dr. Carissa F. Etienne, was elected Director General of the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, by the member states of the organization on the 19th of September in 2012, and began her 5-year term on February 1, 2013. From March 2008 until November 1, 2012, Dr. Etienne served as Assistant Director General for Health Systems and Services at the World Health Organization in Geneva, Switzerland. You're watching The Diary, where we have been recapping the highlights of the country's president's weekly activities. More after the break. Ghana is set to achieve the goal set by the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF of universal birth registration by 2015. The General Register Office has launched an intensive campaign. It has decentralized its services to specifically cater to the needs of residents living in the interior location. Bedside registration is also done in several public hospitals. There are now 200 registration centers operating in 10 regions. Citizens are urged to ensure that all births are registered. In an effort to respond more promptly to citizens, the Home Affairs Ministry has launched an online crime reporting system which allows citizens who possess or have access to cell phones, computers, or other devices with internet connections to report criminal activities. Citizens can get instant access to security personnel on BlackBerry Messenger via 280-4E429. Reports of corruption can also be made on www.ipaidthebribe.com. These reports can be made anonymously.
Guyana as a tourist destination continues to receive international acclaim. The reputable National Geographic Traveler has named Destination Guyana as one of the must-see places in 2014. The renowned magazine said Guyana is the best-kept secret in South America with stunning natural wonders. This year, increased focus will be placed on enhancing the standards within the industry, focusing on tourism products and services, multi-destination itinerary planning, events management, ecotourism, and sustainable principles and guidelines, as well as a grading scheme which will be developed for the industry.
Top executives of the Tate & Lyle's Sugars Company met with the President on September 9. The top executives of the Tate & Lyle Sugars Company met with President Ramotar at his office during the week. The team of officials, who included Regional Technical Director Colin Turner, Vice President Trading Duncan Tate, and Social Responsibility Specialist Raphael Vaya, was led by Senior Vice President Simon Gibbons.
We talked about factors impacting the sugar industry in Guyana, about the long-term relationship between our company, Tate & Lyle Sugars ASR, who buy most of the Guyanese sugar for the European Union, and some for the US as well, under the US quota. And we talked about the cane breeding station in Barbados as well.
It was explained that the Tate & Lyle company has a very good relationship with Gaisuku, and the team, which is here on a one-week visit, has been meeting with stakeholders and major players in the sugar industry. The team also visited the Skeldon Sugar Factory.
We go very frequently to Skeldon, so we know about the problems there, and we know that Gaisuku are gradually turning that factory around and that estate around. But it's a long journey, and it'll take a lot of work to go to improve it, but it is going in the right direction.
The business focuses principally on bringing specialty sugars and functional ingredients made from sugar cane to the European Union marketplace, a market dominated by sugar produced domestically from those doing beet under the European Common Agricultural Policy. The members of the Teaching Service Commission are sworn in. President Donald Ramotar offered his congratulations to the new members of both the Judicial Service Commission and the Teaching Service Commission, saying that he was very happy to be able to swear them in.
These are very important commissions. I understand that the absence of these commissions, that the swearing of these commissions has they have caused some difficulties and some inconveniences. So now that it is in place, I hope that very quickly some of the problems that have been brought to my attention will be resolved, and that the functioning of these two bodies will do very well in serving the people of our country. So thank you very much.
Justices Prem Prasad and Lennox Perry, CCH, were sworn in a simple ceremony as Judicial Service Commission members before the head of state. This was followed by the members of the Teaching Service Commission taking their oaths of office. The TSC members are Rupnarayan Prasad, Kemal Prasad, Maja Prasad, Chandrawati Ramson, Avril Crawford, and Alan Monroe. Recently, the President swore in the members of the Public Service Commission and the Police Service Commission. The lives of these commissions expired over the past year, and the constitutionally mandated provisions for their reconstitution have been finally completed. Ghana now has 10 additional notary publics. The formal swearing of the 10 public notaries in the presence of Magistrate Anne McLennan saw President Donald Ramotar offering his congratulations and calling on them to serve the public, particularly the poor from rural areas, with what he described as great rectitude.
I would like to congratulate you this afternoon, and you are, of course, officers, quasi-officers of the law, and I do hope that you'll perform the function in which the people places great reliance on you and confidence in you to execute many important documents and the business that they will bring before you. I do hope that all of you will exercise this responsibility that has been given to you with great rectitude. Many poor people all over our country, particularly in the rural areas, community depend a lot on you, and I do hope that you will be able to satisfy many of the needs that exist. Sadly, over the years, I have had many people reporting to me about exorbitant fees that have been put on many of these things. And it is my hope that you will not be in that category, and you will make yourself accessible, because this is another complaint I've been getting a lot, that people can't access many, and you will make your services very affordable to the people of our country. I will not, of course, in case there's any abuse that can be proven, I will not hesitate to revoke any of these that I've done, because fundamentally this is to give service to the people of our country.
The 10 public notaries are Minister of Legal Affairs and Attorney General Anil Nandlal, attorneys Rohan Chandan, Norton Scotland, Clarissa Reel, Adrian Anamaya, Renata Morris Ramlal, Leslie in Charge, Rajendranath Punai, Ramesh Rajkumar, and Jamila Ali. A notary public in the common law world is a public officer constituted by law to serve the public in non-contentious matters, usually concerned with estates, deeds, powers of attorneys, and foreign and international businesses. A notary's main functions are to administer oaths and affirmations, take affidavits and statutory declarations, witness and authenticate the execution of certain classes of documents, take acknowledgements of deeds and other conveyances, protest notes and bills of exchange, provide notice of foreign drafts, prepare marine or ship's protests in case of damage, provide exemplifications and notary copies, and perform certain other official acts depending on the jurisdiction in which they serve. The President was joined by top regional and local health officials along with other stakeholders as he launched the Presidential Commission on Non-Communicable Diseases. The issue of dealing with non-communicable diseases in a holistic manner was the focus of a Presidential Commission to address what are the leading causes of death in Guyana and the Caribbean. Delivering the formal address, President Donald Ramotar called for more prominence of NCDs as compared to the communicable diseases that often grab international headlines.
Throughout the world, deaths caused by NCDs have been rising dramatically. Researchers for various international organizations present some startling figures. You heard some just now. In 2013, some 382 million persons were said to have diabetes, and it's estimated that in the next 25 years, that figure could rise, if we don't do anything about it, to 592 million. 1.3 million persons died from diabetes and complications last year. Figures also showed, as the director mentioned just now, that these diseases the NCDs kills about 35 million people every year. It is also opposite to note that our region, the Caribbean region, has the highest amount of persons with NCDs in the Americas. It is also obvious that the NCD also deal a heavy blow to the economic and social life of countries around the world.
He made mention of the costs of treating the diseases and the loss of productivity.
A study done in the world in 2007 noted that by 2017, just a few figures I want to give you, China would lose some $558 billion because of these diseases. India, $237 billion, and the United Kingdom, $33 billion. And of course, those are powerful countries with big economies. And it's bad enough for them, but small developing countries like ours, the impact is even more strongly felt. Our region has been playing, in recognition of this, the economic and the social consequences, the grief that it caused. As someone mentioned just now, the fact that it exhausts people's savings sometimes, saving for the future, saving to pass on to your children, sometimes get exhausted in this way.
The president noted that Caribbean leaders had signed on to the Port of Spain Declaration to address the issue jointly, and further field organizations such as the United Nations are also doing their part to address these challenges. Youths in particular, he said, need to be more aware of the need for increased physical activity, and all must endeavor to eat healthily.
I have always had a very active life, and I've always been exercising or walking or jogging, but I still put on the pounds, largely because of what I was eating. And while, of course, the benefits of exercise cannot be underestimated, I will say that my own weight loss over the last 7 months or so has been mainly 90% of what I get. So I would want to encourage you to be very careful of what you eat.
Among those on hand for the event were PAHO's Director General, Dr. Carissa Etienne, CARICOM Assistant Secretary General, Dr. Douglas Slater, CARPA Executive Director, Dr. James Hospitalis, Surinam's Ministry of Health Coordinator, Dr. Wendy Manuelson, Trinidad's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Colin Forlonge, Healthy Caribbean Coalition President, Sir Trevor Harrisel, and a wide cross-section of local stakeholders and representatives. The Presidential Commission on Non-Communicable Diseases will see participation from a wide cross-section of stakeholders seeking to promote healthy lifestyles and reducing the incidences of the preventable diseases. The Secretariat will be housed at the Ministry of Health and meet quarterly as it devises strategies to lower NCDs across Guyana. The focus will be to address issues of alcohol abuse, lack of physical activity, unhealthy diets, and tobacco usage. More of the diary after this break.
Parents with school-aged children will achieve a measure of relief with the provision of $10,000 per school year for all school children in the public schools. This from the 2014 budget is in addition to the school uniform voucher, which will continue to be distributed.
The 2014 national budget has allocated $32.3 billion for education as government continues to emphasize the sector, which has undergone significant transformation in response to the emerging needs of society. A message from the Government Information Agency.
That's all in this week's diary for the period September 6 to September 12, 2014. Before we go, these were some of the highlights. Presidential Commission on Non-Communicable Diseases launched. First indigenous project completed under the Low Carbon Development Strategy and the Guyana Red Plus Investment Fund. And members of more commissions are sworn in. To join us again for the next program when we will bring you more of the President's activities. I'm Paul McAdam thanking you for joining us. Have a pleasant rest of the week.